Hi guys. I wanted to go over the lesson for 8/27, August 27th. So if you weren't here for the live Zoom on 8/27, I'm going to show you how you can complete the work. So our assignment for 8/27 was to complete a learning style test and then to create a graph using a graph website. So the first thing you need to do is go to our learning inventory. So before you do this, you're supposed to make a claim. I'm asking you a question. What learning style are you? And then you would need to make a claim. So everybody that was on live, they chatted a claim to me. Our last lesson was about claims. So on this learning style inventory, there are three types of learners. We have the visual learner, and it tells you what they are down here. Visual learner prefers to use pictures and images. You often recognize words. And then the second type is auditory. As an auditory learner, you need to hear and listen to someone giving you instructions. And then there's also kinesthetic, which is the third type, which means that you learn best when you're actively involved with your hands, a hands-on activity. And so right at the beginning, before you take this learning style, I'm asking you the question, what learning style are you? And then you're going to make your claim. I am a kinesthetic learner. I am a visual learner. I am an auditory learner. So it need to be a full sentence. Um, and now, after you've made your claim, you're going to collect some data. You're going to answer these questions, and then you'll count how many A's, B's, and C's did you pick. So if you picked a lot of A's, it will tell you what the A's mean down at the bottom, what the B's mean, and what the C's mean. So look at that when you're done. So the first question is saying, um, I remember new things best if I write them down. I remember new things best if I can hear the information. Or I remember new things best if I can do the activity with the information. And so you have two ways that you can choose your answer. If you click to the left of the letter, then you're able to put an X and you can choose your answer, and then you can move on to number two and then pick A, B, or C, and you can put an X. Now, like I said, you can click to the left of the letter and then put your X's, but if you're having trouble, then what you can do is just left click your cursor and drag it to highlight, and then go up here to the highlight color, and then you can highlight your answers. I've had some students struggling with the text because sometimes if they delete something or they move something, it will shift all the text. So I want to remind you guys that you have this undo button at the top left, and if I press it enough times, I'll go back to the original form, okay, without any of my changes. So if you mess something up, make sure you hit this undo button until it goes back to the way you want it. Do not refresh the page though. If you refresh the page after you've made a mistake, then it will save it, and then you won't be able to correct that mistake anymore. So if you make a mistake, use the undo button. So you're going to read over all 20 questions. Once you have all 20 questions answered, you're going to write down how many A's you got. So you can click here right under A, and you could just type A equals 5. Give a couple spaces, B equals 6, whatever your answers were. Okay, so you're going to tally them up here. And then you can click here and write the column with my highest score was A. And so you'll fill that out also. And then once you're done, you can read about your learning style down here. And you're going to see, well, was I correct? Was my claim correct? What is your evidence prove to you right now? And then once you're done with that, you're going to practice making an online graph, and I'll show you how to do that. So you could exit out of the learning inventory. It will have your name here instead of learning inventory, though. It will say like your full name, and then I'll have learning inventory after it. And this is a Google Doc that I'm leaving. So after you're done with this learning inventory, you can go graph your data. Make sure you remember how many A's, B's, and C's so you can get that graphed. So the title You're going to change to learning styles. You can make the x-axis learning styles, and you can change y to how many. Now the labels are going to be at the bottom. I want you to notice if I erase the labels, then the bottom labels disappeared. If I erase the number, then my bar disappeared. So if we're starting with a completely blank graph, this is what it should look like with nothing filled out. And so again, the title is Learning Styles. Then your X, that's the bottom axis. We can make that Learning Styles also, because that's the category, Learning Styles. And then the Y, we can make how many. And now we can do our labels. So we have the auditory, comma, then how many auditory did you get? So that would have been B's. How many B's did you get? So you'd count those up. I got 8. And then you would see a bar pop up. And then you put a comma next to the number also. And then next we can move to visual. I should make that capitalized, right? Looks better, visual. So let's say maybe I got 4 visual. And then my bar pops up over visual. So there has to be an order. Auditory is first, 8 is first. Visual is second, 4 is second. So they need to be in order. And then lastly, you could do kinesthetic and put whatever information for that one. So yours is going to look different than mine. I want you to notice that you can take away the colors, you can add numbers, and you can add percentages. Okay. So once you're done, you just hit save and then you can exit out. And I'll show you what you do last. There's one more thing for you to do. You go to the Google slide. The question is, what is your learning style? You already made your claim. That's the first thing you did. So full sentence, my learning style is blank, whatever you chose. And what's your evidence? But now you might want to change your claim right now that you've gathered evidence. So if you found out, you made an original claim that you're visual, but you found out you're auditory, then you're going to want to change your original claim now. And then your evidence, you would type down that numerical data, that quantitative data. So you could type down, I got only 3 visual, but I got 8 auditory. And so type down your evidence and then your reasoning. Since I got so many auditory, much more than the visual and kinesthetic, that would mean I am a auditory learner. So you just explain your evidence and how it supports your claim. If you're confused about what the CER means, then we have this here, all the definitions for you. Once you're done with this, then you come back here, view assignment. And when you view the assignment, they'll have a place for you to turn it in, okay? And then you hit turn in. It's going to be a purple button right over here on the top right. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment.